Greetings, viewers, and welcome to another Sleight of Hand review. I'm recording this after Valentine's Day, so I'm hoping that your Valentine's Day went well. But every day is the day of love when it comes to Transformers. And today we're looking at the Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures Cheetor. And from another Bumblebee branded property. Boy, Hasbro really loves their mascot, don't they? Studio Series Ravage. He is a core class figure that is supplemental to the Studio Series Soundwave from the Bumblebee movie. So let's take a look at packaging real quick on the... Put that to the side. On Cheetor here, this is sort of a redo of... They've had these figures coming out. Cheetor's new, but they had a few waves ahead of him, and you'll see them in size comparisons, where the boxes were a bit different, and this is the more recent incarnation. This one took a tumble at some point, but as you can see, they try to throw a little art on the sides. They give you a lineup of the figure on the back in both modes. His function is Guardian of the Allspark, and this is their Dinobots Unite line. So they're kind of keeping up with whatever's current in the show. But yeah, Saber Strike, so he has some accessories. Obviously they have Dinobots in the Cyberverse show, which is great. I love the Dinobots. But yeah, no plastic in the window here, and that's becoming a trend. Hasbro hasn't excised it completely from all of their lines, but they are doing it. So, does this make the figures more prone to theft? Maybe slightly. You could get at some of the accessories a little more easily. Thankfully, everything looks to be in here. That would be my main concern. These figures are still pretty tied in. If you're going to try and cut these while you're in the store, let's be honest, you were probably going to steal this figure to begin with, whether there's plastic here or not. But the accessories inside, they can be kind of, gotten at too, and somebody could potentially make off with them. But yeah, that's Cheetor. And with Ravage here, again, we're seeing no plastic, no window. So instead of Cyberverse art, we have not necessarily a still from the movie. It's the movie model of Ravage, but it's probably newly created, posed in that way at least. You can see he's the same on the side. On the back, he shows us both his modes. What is that? That is something that fits in Soundwave's chest. So you see his core class, and there's not much to it, really. So that's packaging. Let's open them up and see what's going on in there. Okay, here we go. Accessories. So, everything with Ravage here is very small, and yet still very well tied into the packaging. I don't expect anyone to abscond with them in the store unless they rip open the entire package and start cutting ties. So the plastic window probably isn't too much of a deterrent, whether it's in there or not. As you can see, he has a little blastery type bit. This, I think, is more for the Studio Series Soundwave. He has this tiny missile pod. And he has... These look more like blasters than missiles, but they do go on his hips. And we'll just do that really quick. Oh, he's small. I've seen smaller. The legend scale stuff gets really, really tiny. There we go. More or less, that's how it's gonna be. And for Cheetor, accessories are these swords. Clear plastic. This yellow part is painted. Not terrible. Again, clear plastic, paint, Autobot symbol. And I believe, yep. More clear plastic that is partially painted. So let's take a quick look at the figures here. Cheetor, bit of deco on here with his spots, Autobot logo. His face is painted reasonably well. Bit of copper on the thighs, blue on the shins. Unfortunately, hollow in the back here on the legs. Got a tail, a little bit of hollowness back there too, but not too bad. The inside of the forearms, hollow. His hands fold in so that, I mean, they can put a panel there, but this is a relatively inexpensive line, so. Let's see Articulation. Let's check him out, see what he can do here. So we have, feels like a slight ball peg on the head. Obviously you get twist, a little bit up, a little bit of down. Not bad. On the shoulders, it's definitely a ball peg in there. And with that you get this slight butterfly joint, but it's not really a butterfly, it's just a ball. But that can get out to the side completely. All the way around, but you collide into his cat parts on the back there. Looks like he's supposed to actually fit together a bit more. Better there. Sorry about that. Single jointed elbow, 90 degrees. Bicep rotation. His elbows do bend backward as well, which is obviously for transformation, but you get a bicep twist. No twist on... Ooh, I stand corrected. These figures kind of surprised me in that they come in at a relatively low price point. They transform. They have pretty darn good articulation. They don't look bad. They really, you know, for like a budget piece, they kind of try to put a lot in here with them. So he has a wrist swivel. I mean, there are Studio Series figures that don't even have a wrist swivel. Soundwave being one of them. You'll see that when I bring him back in here. So that's really pretty great. And you can, you know, with the transformation joint, you can get his hand to come in like that. It's not really useful, but he does have a wrist swivel. Good on you. Looks like his torso likes to come apart. This is obviously for transformation. That probably is meant to secure a bit better in there, but it doesn't. But he has a waist. Again, I will point out, there are Studio Series figures that you can pay almost twice as much for. And granted, the paint and the fidelity in terms of the, you know, what is on screen and all stuff like that it looks really great. Looks great, but doesn't pose as well. They don't have as much articulation. So waist twist. His legs go all the way forward. And they go all the way back, out to the side a bit, but all the way back. His legs can go out about that far. They can go a little farther, but you run the risk of popping them off the ball joint. It's happened twice already. So that's still not bad. It's not quite the Johnny Cage. It's not quite a split, but we'll take it. Thigh rotation. Yep, it's in there. It's actually right there on that mushroom peg. So it looks pretty good and is pretty functional. Not a bad, 90 degrees on the knee, and looks pretty good. And the feet go forward that much. They go back a little bit. And the best part of these figures is that they put in an ankle rocker. They recognize that people want to be able to make a wide stanced pose with their figures. And that's not bad. So that's his articulation in a nutshell. And let's do Ravage real quick. We'll take a quick look at this pussycat. Wow. I'm just trying to get an idea. I don't go at these figures before I film to see like, oh, what do they do? And then kind of get an idea. I usually do this pretty unscripted. So pardon me if I play around a little bit. But as you can see, his head can go down. And it can go up. His mouth can open. There is no side to side, there's no twist. His front legs can go that far up. Can go all the way around, really, but does that make sense? Probably not. They are double jointed. Are they double jointed? No, they're not actually. I stand corrected. They're not double jointed. They have a weird, like a pretty deep, it's not deep in the ultimate execution, but it looks like it would be very deep. It goes back like that. Yeah, so there's a bit of a ball joint there, so you get a bit of a wiggly, wobbly, out to the side, slightly. And his foot can articulate. There's no pivot on the foot, so you're not going to get, you can get a stance out to the side, but you're not getting his feet perfectly flat on the ground. And for his hind legs, I think they'll also go all the way. Yeah, they will. Okay. But the legs themselves can go that, like that. You have a hinge here as well, and a foot. So this hinge here at the bottom, right here, kind of tight. And the legs do have a ball joint, so you get a little bit of in and out, but not much. And his tail can go up and down like so. And yeah, I said that. So for size comparisons on Cheetor here, let's drop in another cat-like figure from Hasbro. That's the Fortnite Lynx. Again, really like that figure. Here is the vintage Cheetor. He's a fun figure. We'll show him in cat mode when he's in cat mode. We'll transform him in a bit. Okay, for a few additional size comparisons, we have RED Cheetor and Cyberverse Soundwave. And for Core Class Studio Series Ravage, there's a size comparison with Catgut from Action Master Treadshot. And I have a Cyberverse Slug. Always a classic. G1 Ravage. And here we have Cyberverse Cheetor in alt mode. And there isn't terribly too much going on here. You do have a separate set of legs here in the front. They are on a limited ball joint. You don't get really much of anything that I could tell in the feet. They look like they're molded. Yep, they're solid. His head won't turn. His mouth will open. It won't go up or down really because it's part of the transformation that it kind of locks into his robot mode neck. But the rear legs are basically the robot legs with a additional joint in them. His tail can go up and down a little bit. Kind of low effort, honestly, but it works. It's enough. Here he is next to Beast Wars Vintage. I guess it's Vintage now. Retro, you could say, Cheetor. And here he is next to Prowl from Magna Boss. Since we're doing cats, here he is next to Prowl from Cyberverse. And we might as well bring in... Oop, knocked over Ravage. One of many Ravages. Studio Series Ravage. And a very tiny DX9 Legend Scale Ravage. On a very smaller scale of Legend Scale. He's a very small bean. So there you have that. So like these Cyberverse figures, they kind of strike a balance between what you'd expect from a fuller featured collector grade type figure with posability and good paint, good bot mode, accessories, and some of the gimmicky stuff you see, not necessarily auto-transforming stuff, but along those lines where, armor pops out of, covers their head or their chest or something. In this case, you have, your headpiece, and these are all add-on parts. It's fine, it's okay. Okay. Here we have Studio Series Core Class Ravage in his alt mode. Not all his accessories are on him. I think he'll fit easier into Soundwave without all of the accessories on him. I know one piece, this piece, will not fit on him when he is in Soundwave. But size comparison wise, there is G1 Ravage. Here is a Cyberverse Laserbeak. Here is a Core Class Starscream. And the first review I did, Studio Series Soundwave. And does he fit? He fits. Is it the greatest thing ever? No, probably not. And I think we can use this on here. You get that effect. It serves a purpose. Ravage folded up and popped out a Soundwave in the movie. He wasn't meant to be a tape. He's just meant to be in there. So yeah, that's there he is. Very difficult to get out. So I'll get him out and I'll display him alongside Soundwave, and that'll be the end of it. There's that. So there we have it with Cyberverse Cheetor and Studio Series Ravage. I can say these Cyberverse figures are pretty fun to mess around with. The transformations on some of them, not so much on Cheetor, but on other ones, they can be a little involved actually. But nothing that's too punishing or too, brain bendery, I guess. And if there's any real parts problems with like things popping off or colliding, there's not too much paint that you'd scratch or parts that you'd break. Ball joints tend to pop off. Mushroom pegs tend to pop off, and then they kind of just go back on. So these are nice. I like these. For the price point and what you get, they're kind of fun, and the Cyberverse show is great. I haven't watched too much of it recently. I have seen more of the more recent episodes than anything in the past, so I'm going to go back and catch up on some stuff, but Studio Series Ravage, he's not terribly fun to mess around with. He definitely is a great companion piece to Soundwave. You kind of need that. I would like to see a movie version. They'd have to completely, if they have concept work, they can work off concept art, but if they don't have anything, they'd have to come up with something completely new for Laserbeak, but wouldn't mind seeing a Laserbeak. Rumble and Frenzy, again, they could do all the cassette bots. They don't necessarily even need to make them all fold up into a cassette, but I guess they could work on that. But it was nice to get something from that scene, that one scene in the movie, that one scene where Ravage pops out and attacks Optimus Prime, so pretty good in that regard. But there you go. You have two cool cats. I'd definitely say none of them would get the touch. They're not really spectacular. They don't blow your mind, but Cheetor's pretty good. Ravage is a nice little piece to go with Soundwave. And I think that would be about it. So if you liked any part of this review, definitely, give me a like. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more reviews. I'll continue to pump out whatever and whenever I can. Not always new stuff, sometimes old stuff. I have one that I'd like to do next, which is going to be a G1 figure and something else, so we'll see what that happens to be. But yeah, if you enjoyed any part of this, thanks for watching, and from all these cats and me to you, take care of yourselves out there and each other, and have a great one.